Welcome, everyone. We're on week 4 of Awakening Inner Resilience, finding peace and clarity in a chaotic world. And Sharon and I are really excited, as always, to go through this session with you. And so, just a reminder, I'm Victoria Hart, and I'm a mastery coach and intuitive healer. And Sharon Seberg, is a visionary executive coach. Have I got that right?
Yes, yes. Thank
I
you.
never know if it's that way round or the other way round. Visionary executive coach, and you specialize in women coaching. Is that right? Yeah,
Yes.
great. So today we are going to be. Oh,
Let
just
me
want to move
put
the
the slide.
slide. There we go. So today's session is embodying your power. And so I'll just run through what we're going to be discussing today. So today is really about getting anchored in our body, and that's where, our power lies. And so we'll be talking about how to differentiate between the thoughts that we're having and the sensations that we're having in our body in challenging situations, and to recognize that the more embodied that we are, the more freedom and sense of ease we have, versus feeling kind of vulnerable and anxious. And so, as Dr. Sue says, the key to being grounded in our wholeness resides within our body, within our own living, breathing, physical body. And so, we're then going to jump on to share with you some stories to inspire you. So, we've got the breakfast story, the love story, and the visibility story. And then we're going to do a practice so that you can get to feel what is it like to be really embodied and to feel anchored and present in that in your body. And then we're going to show you or go through again how to breathe through our central channel. So that's what we've got lined up for you today.
Good stuff. Thank you. Looking forward to this.
As I just shared on the other slide, recognizing, when, and I think we've shared this in either the last session or the one before, but kind of recognizing what our body's telling us rather than always trying to figure out from our mind. And so, we might feel, and let's use anxiety as a good example because that's quite a big topic in the community. And so, we feel a sensation in the body. Maybe it feels a bit uncomfortable. And so our mind will label it, I am anxious, I feel anxious. And yet, when we really think about this, that's just a sensation in the body. We've then labeled, and our minds are kind of programmed to always look for the negative. So rather than telling ourselves, "Oh, I feel excited," and maybe something really good is about to happen, we tend to kind of shift towards the negative. And so we'll label it as, oh, this must be anxiety. And therefore something not so good might be, about to happen. And then, as we've shared before, what tends to happen is that outcome because we've already kind of set that in motion. So we want to be able to use the sensations in our body to kind of feel our way through life. And so if we get a feeling in our body where we maybe are either expanding or contracting, that's a sign if we want to move forward with something, or if we feel like actually let's hold back and let's weigh up things before we maybe jump into something. And so subject, object, subject is a practice that we will share to help you really understand what that feels like. And then we'll move on to the central channel anchor points. Um, so,
Would you yeah, I'll add to the vibrations in your body. So when you we think we always start with the mind first, but really we feel something first, right? So it is, and then our mind interprets what we feel. And a lot of times, again, going back to that protective self, that's where we start. We begin to protect ourselves. So we look for, oh, what could happen bad? So we can have a habit of interpreting like, oh, I must be anxious as opposed to excited. These
Mm.
they're vibrations for certain things. Like the body can only feel certain vibrations, and then we interpret what they mean. And so, and your experience really is based on how you interpret it and the meaning you're giving it. So it's really clear, and allow yourself to feel the vibration and look for the bigger meaning. Look for, oh, what's happening? Maybe, instead of being anxious, maybe you can interpret as excitement. My body's producing all this energy for me to be able to do what I'm being asked to do. Or if I'm feeling sad or something like that, oh, my body is asking me to slow down, allow something to move through me, allow something to be processed. It's all about how you're interpreting it. What's the bigger meaning? Or like if you're sad, you're like, something is I'm interpreting something wrong here. What is that? And what is it that I really want? So allow yourself to feel those vibrations. So thank you for letting me add that in there. And did you want to do the subject object here, or do you want to introduce the anchor points first?
I'll do that first, and then we'll bring in the stories as well, shall we, to
Oh,
demonstrate.
yeah,
But
that's
I'll just add as well, I think it was good that you brought up that sadness thing. Is, we've kind of been taught not to process the feelings in our body or these emotions that bring up. So if we are feeling sad, we might tend to try and distract ourselves and do something else. And of course, when we're not processing the emotions in our body, this is when it gets stored. And this is where we shared in previous sessions about that circuit board of the body and the energy flowing through the body, not then being able to flow easily and naturally. And as Sharon was saying, we start to then make up these stories in our mind about what that can mean, and then the meaning then interprets the outcome that we have. So yeah, okay. So let's move to the central channel anchor points, and we'll just share what that looks like in the body. So this is from Dr. Sue's work. And so we have the anchor point at the root, and that's really our pelvic floor. So, kind of squeezing that pelvic floor muscle just gently so that we're kind of feeling that rooted, that anchoring in the body. And then we move up to the heart space, and we want to be able to open our heart. So, dropping our shoulders back and down gives us that open heart and also helps us with our posture. And then we move up to the throat. And so, you know, sometimes people might have, like the voice gets a bit croaky or a bit scratchy. We're not able to express very clearly. And that could be a sign that there's blocked energy going on there. And then, of course, we move up to the third eye. And that's where we're really able to start becoming the creator of our reality, because we're in that visionary space and we're able to perceive from a wider perspective than if we weren't sort of activated in that space. So we can have a little go if you're all ready. So we're going to start by just gently squeezing that pelvic floor. And then as you're squeezing that pelvic floor, just open your heart, dropping your shoulders down and back. And then we're going to move the breath up from the pelvic floor, up through the heart. And so as you're breathing upwards, when you get to the throat, just constrict it slightly. So you've got a little bit of a Darth Vader breath, I think is the best description. So you want to be able to feel that breath moving through your throat. So we're rising up from the root, through the heart, into the throat. And then we were going to raise our eyes just gently to focus on that third eye point. And so then take one long breath all the way from the root up to the third eye. And then just hold there gently for a moment and just notice how your body feels. Does it feel more anchored? Do you feel more present in your body? And then on the exhale, you can just imagine that breath is flowing out the top of your head. And as we explained in last week's session, we want to create that torus field. So we're breathing up and around, and it's also coming down and around. Sharon, you might have something to add here.
Yeah, thank you for that, those descriptions and those points. Yeah, I'll explain my how it feels to me, and maybe you guys can feel into this. So as you imagine, so this again, use your imagination. Imagine energy is coming up through your central channel, through these four anchor points, and instead of just like not squeezing, but imagine like almost like a sucking it up, like it's coming up. Like you can use your breath, you can use your hands, it's coming up, and then it you can feel your body almost lifting, coming through your heart. And again, you're squeezing the back shoulder blades and opening your heart, and then squeezing or making the Darth Vader, like she said. And then the other thing that I wanted to add into what she said about the Anja part is, it's, we're taught that the third eye is between your shoulder, your eyebrows. It's not. It's actually behind your eyes. It's like almost equal to your ear points and the base of your spine. If that was like a cross section, it's right in there, because that's where your pituitary gland and your pineal gland is. And that is where all this beautiful hormones and chemistry is made for your body. And so as you're doing that, you're sending energy up your spinal cord, and you can almost, using your imagination, feeling your body being almost lifted, and you're shooting that energy up into this area and then out through your brain and around. So allow it to also be sensory as you're doing it, and that'll enhance that experience and really start to begin to anchor your awareness into your body. Hopefully that helped added to the sensation part. So thank you. And do we want to cover the stories here, or did we want to go to the next?
Yeah, let's do it on the next slide. We can
Remember when we brought that in. So yeah, so
do
there's,
you want to start with the breakfast story?
yeah, sure. I'll start with a breakfast story. So the so I'm going to tell a story just to help you understand moving through the world and following your heart and sensations as opposed to your mind. Trying to see that bigger picture, right? And making decisions out of love instead of fear. So I'm going to tell you a story. So imagine a friend calls me and she says, "Oh, we had dinner last night. We had friends that stayed over, and we had a great time and stuff. And we stayed up late, and so I didn't clean the house. And I woke up early and ended up just making breakfast for my family. And they woke up, they slept in late, and they came and sat at the table. And I worked so hard on this breakfast, and they just ignored me and did their talking and just were doing things. And my husband, he was sitting there talking to the kids, and he even had the audacity to ask me for a fork, as if I'm his servant, as if I have to serve him. And then I just got so mad. I got so mad, and the kids started to fight, and I sent them to their rooms, and just the whole weekend was just ruined. Now, let that go. Now imagine I getting a phone call from a friend and her saying, "Oh, I've had the most amazing weekend. We had friends that stayed over late, and we decided just to let it not clean the house because it was late, and we went to bed, and I was able to wake up early, and I did some straightening. I cleaned the kitchen, and I noticed that I had all this amazing food, and I got to prepare this beautiful breakfast for my family, and my kids and husband woke up. They went to the table, and I got to admire them just playing and having fun. And I'm just so lucky. My husband wants to be engaged with our kids this way. And then we had the most amazing breakfast and conversations. And afterwards, we all pitched in and cleaned up the living room and decided to go on this most amazing hike. And it just kicked off our weekend. It was so amazing. And so think about these two stories. What is the difference between them? It is the same things are happening, but one is what the first lady is interpreting things based on feelings or thoughts that she's had in the past that she's bringing into the present. Maybe she's even thinking about things in the future that could be going wrong that she's bringing in. Oh, they're never going to help me, that kind of thing, right? And then the other woman is just being present to what's actually happening. She's allowing herself to stand in gratitude. She's allowing herself to see through the eyes of love instead of bringing in all these thoughts of, there's not a time, or, people don't love me, or whatever it is, right? Whatever she was thinking and feeling. So that's just one story. So I wanted just to introduce that to kind of broaden your thinking as far as like it really matters on how you're interpreting what's happening and looking for that bigger picture, looking for the love that's actually there always.
Nice.
Yeah.
Story I prefer. So that leads us on to the love story. And of course, we've all either been in love or had a desire to be in love. And so, can you remember a time when perhaps you were so infatuated with someone, you just really so wanted to be in a relationship with them, that the more you focused your attention on them, the more they kind of seemed to be further away. And so you threw your attention on them even more, and the more they seemed to be out of reach. And with that, throwing your attention onto the object of your desire, you start to feel slightly uncomfortable. You don't feel strong, you don't feel safe, and you don't feel whole and complete. And so, what's happening here is the more that we're in love with someone and we're throwing all our energy over them, every time we see them, maybe we're following them with our eyes and all our energies following them like a shadow. And what's happening is we're losing our sense of self, we're losing our sense of center. And so when our energy's all over on somebody else, that other person is also going to sense that, and it's going to make them feel that perhaps you're unstable, you're not quite grounded and centered, and that's going to kind of act as that kind of repellent, that sort of opposite end of the magnet. We're going after, and that magnet's repelling even more. So, what we want to do is really learn to be fully embodied. And this is either with a love relationship or any relationships, really, because when we're centered and grounded in our own body, when we're not leaking our energy over there onto something else or someone else, we can have much healthier, empowered relationships because we're empowered in our body. And when we're not, that's when we have these disempowering experiences, a little bit as, Sharon was sharing in the breakfast story. The attention was on all the stuff outside of herself. And so she was feeling disempowered. And that was the reflection she was getting from her family. So if we see how that affects, us in our love lives and relationships, then let's move on and see how that might also affect us in the workplace.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I feel like we all kind of go through the love story at some point in our lives, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so out now with the workplace, definitely I've had this experience. Have you ever been sitting in like a conference room, right? And there's a lot of people sitting around the table, and you have this like brilliant idea that comes to you, and you share this idea, and nobody really responds. Maybe somebody looks at you or something like that. And then maybe like 2 minutes, 5 minutes later, someone, 2 seats down from you says almost the exact same thing. And everyone is like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And you're like, wait a minute, what? I just, nobody heard you, right? If you've ever had that experience, I've had that experience plenty of times. Well, that one of the things is because of how we're holding our energy. So if your energy again is dispersed and you're focusing on everyone else, you're you're not home, right? People can't feel you, they can't hear you as well. But if you can take this SOS practice, right, and have one eye inside of you connected to your own um, feelings and self, it's easier for people to find you and hear you. So what you want to do is imagine having one eye, or feeling yourself, right, as well as feeling the others that are in the room, and then the energy that's present in the middle. And if you can hold those three spots as you speak, you're more grounded. People are able to hear you because you are present. You're not hiding yourself.
Mm.
You're present in the room.
Yeah, I like that. And we're not then seeking the validation from our work colleagues because we're already validating ourselves and our idea, and so that's how it comes out when we present it. Love it. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. So I think what we have next are we wanted to share two more embodiment practices, the central channel breathing and then the drop in and drop through. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes so you can sort of get a vision of what that feels like um, with the central channel breathing. I want you to imagine that there is this literally channel running through your spine, through your body, kind of going through all of your energy centers. And when this energy flows freely through this channel, you feel balanced, you feel grounded, and you're in harmony with yourself and the world around you. So this central channel breathing is designed to activate and align this energetic flow. So, okay, close your eyes if you would like, and relax your shoulders. And begin to set your focus. Bring your awareness inward, focusing on your breath. And imagine this vertical column of light or energy running from the base of your spine up to the top of your head. This is your central channel. So we're going to begin breathing. Imagine your breath traveling up through your central channel from the base of your spine, your root chakra, up into the crown of your head, the top of your head. And imagine this energy gently rising as you breathe in. And then on the exhale, visualize your breath floating back down through the central channel from the crown into the root. Allow the energy to settle and ground you at the base of your spine. And you can bring in this image of the breath as like a golden or white light as it flows up and down your central channel. Visualize it as it clears any blocks, creating a smooth, radiant flow of energy. And really focus on the sensations in your body as you breathe. Notice if there's certain areas that feel tight or blocked, and allow the breath to gently soften and release those spaces. And if there's a certain area where the breath tends to get stuck, you can breathe into that area to open it up more, right? And then just continue this cycle for 5 to 10 minutes in your own time. We won't necessarily do that now, but depending on what feels comfortable. In each breath, just imagine yourself feeling more aligned, more grounded, more centered. So what this central channel breathing is doing, the benefits of them are it's grounding you, it's connecting your body, and it's aligning your energy field. It helps you be more present and balanced. There's something called Heart Math, that it's a Heart Math Institute that's done all this research around it. And it's really bringing your heart and brain into coherence. And so that your energy is more smooth, it's more focused, it's more calm, it's calming your mind, it's allowing this energy flow that we talked about. It's enhancing your awareness on, other more subtle energies around you, and it's preparing you for any kind of energy work or meditation that you want to do. So you want to do this kind of central channel breathing whenever you feel overwhelmed or you feel stressed, or if you just like a daily routine to manage your energy.
I'll just add as well that you
Yeah.
can do it in bed. So when you wake up, you can just still lay in bed before you get out of bed and just run that energy up and down your body. And just do it, even though you're lying flat, just imagine that, the floor is by your feet and your head is upwards, and just run that energy. And you can do it again when you go to bed at night as well. So yeah,
Thanks
perfect.
for that. Thank you for bringing that in. Yeah, I agree. That's always a really good practice. It's clearing your mind and getting you set for the day, instead of waking up and like thinking all your to-dos and getting into the more of the chaotic energy. Allow yourself to remain calm and do the central channel breathing and beginning to really set yourself up. So thank you for bringing that in.
Right.
So yeah, and then the next one we have is called this drop in and drop through. So this is a powerful practice for really reconnecting with your body and grounding your energy and releasing any of these like stored emotional or energetic tension, right? It's really designed to help move you beyond this mental chatter and into a deeper state of embodied awareness where you can access your more natural resilience and wisdom. So we're going to do one more practice if you're up for it. I'm going to invite you to do step one by beginning to close your eyes and bring your awareness more into your body. We spend so much time in our head, thinking, analyzing, and reacting, right? That we become disconnected from the sensations and the wisdom of the body. So take a few deep breaths to settle yourself and direct your focus inward, away from your thoughts and into your body. Start by sensing your breath as it moves in and out of your body, and notice the rhythm without trying to change it. Allow your awareness to settle in a specific area of your body, often is your chest or your belly, where you feel sensations, tension, or energy. And the purpose of this dropping in is to leave this mental chatter, as we mentioned, right? And shift your focus back to being fully present and connect to your core self and become more grounded. And then really the next step is called dropping through. So once you've brought your focus back into your body and you're connected to your sensations, the next step is to drop through any blocks or tension or emotional resilience you encounter. Instead of trying to avoid it or suppress the discomfort, this is really allowing you to move through it. It's not going to hurt you. It's just a sensation, right? And allow your awareness to help regulate it, basically, is what you're doing. So identify the sensation in your body, the tension, or maybe it's emotional discomfort that has arisen from you slowing down. As we're dropping in, bring your full awareness without any judgment. Simply observe it. Imagine softening or melting into the sensation, allowing yourself to go deeper. Visualize yourself dropping through the tension as you're moving through a doorway to greater clarity and peace. And then continue breathing deeply, trusting that you can release any stuck energy by fully feeling and allowing it to move. So just imagine it dropping through your body and into the earth. This helps you dissolve any energetic or emotional blocks, moving through the resistance instead of fighting it. You're creating space for healing and flow and restoring balance to your full system, right? So this technique really is really about releasing stored emotions or tensions. It's grounding yourself into the present moment instead of out of your busy mind, right? And it's cultivating a deeper connection with your body and body's wisdom and energy. And it's building up some of this emotional resilience by fully processing and integrating experiences. So, and this is another really good practice to use whenever you feel stress or anxiety, emotional overwhelm, or in your like that mental loop, that we all sometimes get in and we're trying to figure something out, right? So, thank you for allowing us to go through these. And Victoria, did you have anything you wanted to add to this?
Not really. Just one thing that popped in was, as you're bringing all that energy into the body or into the head, and then just dropping it, literally as if you're dropping heavy bags of shopping on the floor or something, was what came to me. And so you're just releasing, as Sharon said, you're just releasing it down to the earth. And then what's happening with that energy is it's just getting transmuted back to, love, and so it can be recycled and used again, um, in a positive way.
Mm, love it. I do bring that in. All right. And now we're to our discussion time of the presentation. So, did you want to run through the discussion, or would you like me to?
You're welcome to if you'd like to.
So, when you think of an issue or troubling situation in your life, you first notice your thoughts about the situation or the fear that may arise. And then now focus on your body and notice how it feels in your body when you're thinking of the same situation. And then how is that different? How does it feel to focus on something in your mind versus feeling it in your body? Does anybody have that experience?
Or should I run through the next question and then we can obviously pause it for the
Yeah.
group chat? Um, so, and then thinking about when we did the subject, object, subject, like throwing your energy over there versus being in the body. Um, is there a situation in your life that is, demanding all your attention? So you're constantly feeling like your attention is over there on something or someone, and then notice how it feels different when you practice that subject, object, subject, and bring that energy back into the core of your being.
And then our last question here is, have you ever felt completely at home in your body or in your life? Like just feeling completely settled, right? Do you feel often scattered on the inside and on the outside of situations, relationships, and or experiences? And then when you breathe deeply into your central channel in the body, how does that make you feel? So we're going to take a moment to run through these questions. But before we do that, so for privacy, we're probably turn off the recording. But before that, we want to wrap up for those of you that are watching the replay and let you know how you can reach out to us if this has brought anything up for any of you that you would like to contact one of us. Victoria Hart can be connected to at her email is Victoria at theconsciouscreationcoach.com, and her website is theconsciouscreationcoach.com. And then myself, I can be reached at my email is Sharon at SharonSeberg.com, and my website is SharonSeberg.com. But for those in the recording, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Sharon Seberg and Victoria.
And of course, if you have any questions about anything that was shared in this or any previous classes, then feel free to reach out. So yeah, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.